Hello, everyone. Hello. How's it going, folks? We are online. $70,000, slightly lower, but as we discussed today, the yeah, it's the ceasefire is in trouble. We're getting the CPI on Friday. The projection for Friday seems to be 3.3. Well, Bessett wants to pass it again. So Bessett actually really wants to pass the Clarity Act. So, I mean, that's good, I guess. So that's good. And Coinbase did say a while ago that the Clarity Act had some new life in it. I mean, I really don't think the Clarity Act is one of those things that'll really pump price. I think people were just getting I personally think the Clarity Act was is just something to get people excited. I don't think it'll actually affect price all that much at all. I mean, it's just something that people are like, yeah, cool, clarity, we're gonna get it and stuff. Japan's credit bubble is going to cause more market damage in a full-on war with Iran. I mean, Mark, you might be right, but right now, the credit bubble hasn't burst yet. It might burst at any time, I'll give you that. But the credit bubble has not yet burst, and we are currently in a war with Iran. So right now, the effects of one are greater than the other, but it can go either way. Let's just get past all this before the midterms. Dude, the midterm stuff is Trump's screwed for the midterms, man. Trump and the Republican Party are completely screwed for the midterms. There's no way there's no way they're gonna win that. His approval rating was already abysmally low even before the Iranian war, and the Iranian war is just gonna get it to be even more abysmally low. There's essentially no way he's gonna get past this. Absolutely zero way to get past this. And realistically, it doesn't really matter because he's still going to be president, which means none of the feared anti-crypto stuff can actually take place until he's out of office in another 2 years. Now, I think by the way this is going, they're unlikely to win in 28. And that actually might be more of a problem for crypto because since Trump has dove in so deep with the crypto scams, the Democrats are probably going to use that to probably hold back crypto or at least control crypto somewhat. So that might be a problem in the future, but for the next couple of years, it's kind of his leadership it's his leadership that's going to be the issue. It's really going to be his leadership that's the issue. It would pump price if we were in a healthy market, but we're not in a healthy market. And we're not going to be in a healthy, as long as he's president, we're not going to be in a healthy market. I can pretty much confidently say that at this point. Because as soon as he gets out of one debacle, he starts another one. For the 2028, we will soon be watching turn on. Well, I mean, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and others that were super supportive of him, 2 years ago, they're all turning on him at this point because they see that he's insane right now. If those guys actually see that you're insane, then you're probably insane at this point, right? If those guys think that you're insane, you're probably insane because they were hardcore MAGA. They were the core of your movement. And now they think that you're a danger to society, which you actually are at this point. So yeah. So it's not this is not good for him at all. Not good for him at all. AI guy, it's not Iranian propaganda. Trump himself tweeted that the 10 points were a starting basis point. I know that you're like, AI guy, you are desperately trying to defend your guy, but he's indefensible at this point. It's still there. The credit default didn't go away. You literally have his post on social media saying that it's a workable 10-point plan. That's something that you can't even deny, no matter how much you're trying to defend him at this point. Trump wants you to believe that he didn't tweet things that he actually tweeted. But we actually have like the receipts, so it's not going to work. Whatever happened to that credit default, Black Swan, it could still be coming. I mean, the private credit market's like horrible right now. Like, AI guy, you keep on claiming you're not a Trump guy. You're obviously just a Trump propagandist at this point. Because I gave you the link where it showed his tweet, where he literally said the 10 points are a starting point for our discussion. And the ceasefire is simply not going to work because Trump probably tweeted that without knowing what the hell it was. Because Trump desperately needed to tweet something to calm down the market. He didn't really care what the 10 points were at that point. But now, since like there's kind of a ceasefire in place, he's like, no, I didn't actually really mean that. But that doesn't mean he didn't tweet it. At midterms, they are going to turn on them, or there's a good chance that after midterms, they are going to turn on him. I mean, like, because they won't really need his help anymore. Also, World War II was pretty cut and dry. Whereas, like, this isn't really cut and dry. Like, Hitler was, like, literally trying to take over the world. That was, like, his goal. Whereas, like, Iran is definitely not trying to take over the world. You can't hear... Takes a Trump post to wreck us? Yeah, that's basically all it takes. The thing is, you can't pretend that Trump didn't tweet something that he actually tweeted. He can delete it from Truth Social, but there's going to be like receipts online of what he tweeted. Well, the thing is, like, if Iran starts shooting, even if he yells ceasefire, if they don't agree with it, I mean, there's no ceasefire. But really, realistically, the Trumpism just like needs to die. It just needs to die off, and it's slowly dying off. Well, Circle just released a new product that actually does like interbank settlement with like different currencies. So essentially, like, I mean, that's another blow to XRP's use case because there's basically no point in it now. I think like Trump's at least this 4 years will be seen as a shit stain on American history eventually. Yeah, but like they're just basically I think they're just putting the nail in the coffin. So like Circle launched a stablecoin settlement solution for traditional financial institutions. So like you know how the like XRP wanted to take over derivatives and all that stuff. They're not doing that either because like Circle and USDC are obviously doing that. I mean, I think most of us knew this all along. I'm pretty sure like most of us knew this all along. And it was just like a couple of the XRP hardcore people that wouldn't actually admit to this. But this is how it's going, man. This is how it's going. So basically like Circle launched CPN managed payments on April 8th, 2026, a fully managed stablecoin settlement platform designed to let traditional financial institutions access blockchain-based settlement without ever touching digital assets directly. The product targets banks, payment service providers, and licensed fintechs, with launch partners Veeam, Thunes, and Worldline already on board. So that's actually what's happening here. And yeah, they're gonna do like settlements for traditional financial institutions. So yeah, XRP, if it wasn't pwned before, it's totally pwned now. Circle is not owned by Ripple. Circle is its own entity. Ripple failed at purchasing Circle because Circle wouldn't sell, and they made a good decision by not selling. Wanting to build a 10-meter high wall around the White House like a movie. He's not going to be able to do that. Like, they're not even approving his ballroom renovations because like he wants to like just like. I can see Trump, yeah, like he's not going to be able to build a 10-meter high wall. There was really no way that Circle Ripple deal was going to actually work. Because, like, Circle was obviously thinking that, like, they were worth more. And, like, I don't think the acquisition talks were ever serious. I highly doubt the acquisition talks were ever serious for the Circle Ripple thing. No, there's no offer that Circle ever thought about accepting. Like, Ripple didn't really have the money to give the price that Circle wanted, because Ripple doesn't really have a lot of like actual cash. Most of it's XRP, and Circle didn't want the XRP. Is why a ballroom? I don't see I have no idea why he wants a ballroom. I think it's stupid. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I know like presidents can like redecorate the White House, but like demolishing part of the White House for a ballroom is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you can like renovate like the inside of the White House. You can't just like demolish a huge part of it and then like build your own ballroom. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's like obsessed with leaving his mark, but it's a stupid mark. Fed Reno is crazy bucks. Yeah, but Bessett really wants the Clarity Act to pass. I mean, Bessett's definitely involved in crypto somehow. I'm not exactly sure how, but Bessett is 100% involved in this crypto stuff, and he wants the Clarity Act to pass. So there is like some hope of it passing. That is crazy bucks. I mean, I don't know why the Fed Reno cost so much. They went like 20% over, 20 or 25% over budget, but that's kind of to be expected because it was supposed to be done before COVID, but they delayed it until after COVID when everything got like 25% more expensive. So like, there's really no need to like investigate the Fed renovation because it's kind of like within the range you'd expect. Because they just basically delayed it until after COVID, and then they went 25% over budget because shit just got a lot more expensive. Over COVID, obviously. As to why it needed $2 billion for a renovation, I don't know. That sounds dumb, but I mean, it is a major building. Maybe they needed some like infrastructure or whatever. Who knows? My guess is Powell didn't even really like, Powell just kind of like checked the boxes, and he didn't really like oversee the renovation. So what's your XRP price prediction for all season if it ever comes? I'm going to say like $5, $6. More money laundering. It could be more money laundering, but I highly doubt like it's like Powell's money laundering. Like these government renovations just cost a lot of money. Do you expect that price? I mean, that was like the original, I think the original budget was 2.1 billion or something. 5K for a chair, I'm sure. I mean, the government does make those kind of purchases. I don't really know why the Fed building would cost so much. I mean, I would guess like 30 or 40 million should have taken care of it. Because there isn't really a building in the world that should take like a $2 billion renovation. Oh, they're completely like they're completely overhauling and making like a new building basically. The Federal Reserve's roughly $2.5 billion renovation of its Washington D.C. headquarters, so it's not like one building, is driven by the need to overhaul historic, unrenovated 1930s buildings. So like they haven't been renovated since 1930. Remove extensive asbestos and lead, and upgrading aging infrastructure. The project involves replacing antiquated electrical, plumbing, and HVAC systems, installing blast-resistant security upgrades, and consolidating operations to reduce long-term leasing costs, or something like that. So essentially, basically, they essentially needed to level the entire thing and then rebuild it. It still shouldn't have costed that much, but they essentially just needed to level the entire thing and rebuild it while preserving some of the historical stuff, which makes it more expensive. I think a lot of the cost was the project involved the complex renovation of two historic, nearly century-old buildings that have never been fully updated since construction. And it still shouldn't have cost that much, but still, they basically needed to build like a new Fed headquarters. That's why it cost so much. It probably because they need to hire special group who have the knowledge to recreate old-style architecture. I mean, they basically needed to rip out the foundations and rebuild it. That's what it sounds like. Well, I don't know if it's one more month and Warsh is in because several of the GOP senators said they wouldn't confirm Warsh. Like they wouldn't confirm Warsh unless Trump dropped the investigation into PAL. Unless like Trump dropped the investigation into PAL, they wouldn't actually hire Warsh. They wouldn't confirm Warsh. And Trump is not willing to drop the investigation into PAL because he's like vengeful. He wants to make a show of Powell because Powell didn't do exactly what he said. But like that case is not going anywhere. He's going to end up losing that one too. Yeah, they're essentially the 2.5 billion. They're relocating all the Fed's employees to that one central location. So like they're basically building an entire new headquarters. Not getting cuts anyways. There's a very good chance we don't get cuts. You know, like higher lows. Do you know what the projected CPI is? The projected CPI for this month is 3.3, up from like 2.4 last month. It went up by like almost a whole point. Yeah, it went up by almost a whole point. That's like COVID. That's like COVID levels of inflation. I doubt they'll raise rates, but that's like COVID levels of inflation. Now, unlike COVID, I don't expect it to keep going up at that rate because like the businesses didn't all shut down. It's not like a release, and we didn't print that much money and give it out to the public. So I don't expect it to I don't expect it to increase by the same amount. But I mean, that's a massive increase. It's not, I don't think they're going to lower rates. I mean, like, I think at the least, the Fed governor should be smart enough to just let this Iran thing play out before they make any decisions. Like, I don't think like he's going to be able to convince anyone to cut rates at this point. Even if Warsh wants to cut rates, the other Fed governors are not going to agree to cut rates. Even if Warsh agrees to cut rates. You can just overestimate. So we come in and lower and pump. He will vote for cuts to appease knowing the others won't. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. I mean, he could change the direction of the Fed, but under these conditions, I don't really know if the other governors are going to be willing to change. I mean, if I was a governor, I wouldn't be willing to cut rates. Seeing how we just went from 2.4 to 3.3, I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's like crazy work. Like that's kind of crazy work, like cutting rates when inflation just went up by that much, if it indeed is 3.3. I mean, if you're cutting rates after that, you're not really a serious person. Or you're not really a serious Fed commissioner if you're cutting rates after that. If the actual number is 3.0, we will pump even though that's high. I mean, even at 3.0, we went up 0.6. But like, I think we would pump. But if it's like 3.2, 3.3, I don't think we're going to pump. Yeah. It's a win-win for him. I mean, but Trump might not be happy unless he can convince the others to cut, which he will not be able to convince the others to cut. That's the thing. Like, can he actually please Trump like that? Because let's be serious, man. That's the real question. Can he actually please Trump like that? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Because like when Trump wants something, he thinks you're a failure unless you can deliver it to him. Still has a lot of the Fed chair does have a lot of influence. Like the Fed chair does have a lot of influence, but I don't know. In these conditions, I still think in these conditions it's going to be incredibly hard for like people to be convinced to cut rates. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. It's going to be really hard for people to cut rates. What would you cut rates if not high inflation? Wait, high inflation would convince me to not cut rates. Low inflation would prompt me to cut rates. And here are upset you're bashing Trump. I think most people in here can get over the fact of me bashing Trump. Look, I know crypto bros voted for Trump for the most part, and they're trying to defend their vote for Trump. But it's pretty obvious at this point that he's a complete disaster. Like, you're pretty delusional if you don't think he's a complete disaster at this point. It's obvious that his presidency has not helped. It's pretty obvious that his presidency has not helped crypto whatsoever. I don't see how anyone can think differently at this point. And he's been asking for a while to get rates cuts. I'm sure he will cut the rates to whatever Trump wants it. No, but he doesn't. He's not the only voice. He needs to convince everyone else to cut rates. And I don't think he's going to be able to convince other people to cut rates, especially if inflation's going up. Like, let's say it goes up to like 3.3 this month, and then it goes up to like, and then he goes up to like 3, and then it goes up to like 3.6 next month. They're not going to cut rates to the bulk of crypto. The Genius Act is mainly a stablecoins act. I don't see it as a detriment, but it's not like something that will immediately like help the price. Like, Genius and Clarity are going to happen sooner or later, regardless. It's going to be hard to cut rates regardless. The markets have been so... Yeah, the markets are complete trash at this point. I mean, the government, like, the feds can just keep the stock market floated up. But crypto is not going to get the same crypto is not going to get the same treatment, though. Crypto is absolutely not going to get the same treatment. Here cycle has most influence. We're getting a bear during whichever candidate won. Yeah, but I mean, I think Trump also prevented us from having a true bull market. And realistically, I don't think we would have had tariffs or this war under Harris. And obviously the tariffs are not going to bring manufacturing back or any like really bring anything back. I mean, what Trump has proven is he doesn't understand international trade, how that actually works. He thinks like trade deficit goes right into national debt, which it doesn't. She wouldn't have been able to stop the bear market, but she wouldn't have crippled the bull market either. Like the tariffs cost us like 3 or 4 months of prime bull market territory. 3 or 4 months because we spent like most of the summer recovering. And the macro factors would be so much better under Harris. Like I do believe the interest rates would be lower under Harris because she wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, and I think we would have gotten all season under Harris because she honestly wouldn't have done anything. Despite like a lot of the crypto influencers like saying doom and gloom because they were desperate for Trump to like make American cryptos not have taxes, which didn't happen. I mean, that's why a lot of them supported Trump because like they were like, oh, crypto is going to be tax free. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. I don't know why you believe that. So I think we would have had a much better alt season with Harris, and I think interest rates would actually be lower right now with Harris, which means like overall the market would be in a better position. And I don't really know what would happen with the prediction markets if Harris was in power. It really was like the taxes thing and some of the regulatory stuff that really like put the crypto bros in Trump's camp, but he's been a disaster. Think the ceasefire is already dead? I don't think we have much hope for Friday's discussion because, like, Iran is already restricting the strait already because they claim that Israel broke the ceasefire treaty. Trump family took a huge loan against their WLFI so they can get liquidated. Dude, that WLFI isn't going to be worth anything after he's out of office. This live? No, I had to delete the other ones because of like some stupid like YouTube regulation, but this one's probably not. Wouldn't prediction markets be regulated by each state anyways? Lives are kind of hard to control because people can just say anything. Just emphasize on stipulation of having stable coins. Got scared of tariffs, then admitted there wasn't any effect in inflation showing from them. Like higher lows, you're kind of seeing the inflation now. The only thing keeping the inflation away was the low gas prices. Now that those are gone, the inflation's really going to hit. He created those 10 points to pump the market. Now he's lying again. I don't think he really agreed to the 10 points. I think he was going to say anything to calm the markets down. He probably didn't even know what the 10 points were. He just said like, yeah, I'll agree to them just so the markets could calm down. He honestly probably didn't even look at it. Inflation from oil wars? Yeah, but the thing is like, the only what was counterbalancing the inflation from the tariffs was actually oil being really low, because oil did actually go lower after he took office, because OPEC decided to, well, they didn't really agree to, they decided to produce more oil, and that led to oil prices being lower. The oil prices being lower kind of offset his tariff stuff. But now, like, you have a double whammy. You have the tariffs and you have higher oil prices. Because oil price was around like 75 or so when Biden left office. It went down to like 63 because OPEC decided to up production. But now, like, you have the war. Now oil's at like 90, so you have like a double whammy at this point. I think Pete Hegseth is like a broker try to like short oil before the announcement. I don't know about Trump himself. I think that would have been too obvious. I heard on CNBC the Fed and midday underplay the labor market. Like, which way do they underplay it? Like, is it worse than what we think it is, or is it better than what we think it is? I don't like, but Trump will never admit that he screwed up. Like, Trump will never admit that he screwed up. So he's just going to dig himself further and further into this. Lying to the public is not an actual, like, lie. No, a president cannot be like removed just for lying to the public. That's not a thing. You might think it is, but it's honestly not. Yes, I deleted all the streams, but I'll save the ones from now on. I didn't realize that many people watched the streams. I thought like no one watched them after the streams were done because they're like 90 minutes. How are the Dems going to investigate the market manipulation? They don't own either house of Congress. You think they're going to, do you really think they're going to be able to investigate them a year afterwards? I mean, they won't have power literally until next January. Like they can't investigate them because he has control of both houses of Congress. I mean, there's some kind of like guideline issues, and I needed to delete the old streams. YouTube's getting too strict on the language stuff, so I was like, I can't really like. They didn't really care as much before, but they care more now. Trying to prove and get money back from market and fraud is a fool's errand and pretty pointless. No, the thing is, like, if you investigated it right now, you might be able to find something. But investigating it like a year out, you're not going to be able to get anything. They'll try to impeach him and try to get him out of office. Google owns YouTube. Alphabet, or whatever the heck it's called. They can impeach him. They have the votes to impeach. They don't have the votes to convict. And we all know that impeaching without convicting is totally pointless. So why? No, I didn't get a strike, but like there's some guidelines about like language or whatever. So about like they consider like certain words like slurs now that weren't slurs before. So I just have to be more careful. Like, they didn't give me a warning or anything, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it, and I'm not going to risk it. So I'm just going to delete the content that might actually have it. Like, my videos, I never use those kind of things because they're just like videos. But like the live streams, like I'm a little bit more liberal with the stuff. So just like I just deleted the old ones. My channel didn't actually get banned. I just got a strike, and I couldn't actually live stream for like a week or something like that. YouTube shouldn't actually like ban these things because like it's impossible to control what other people say. And realistically, like I understand how they don't want to offend people, but they're just making it too hard. Especially with live streams. No. The 2019 thing was an automatic like AI strike. That was not someone reporting my channel. And no, I haven't gotten a strike since 2019. Like the 2019 COVID thing was completely an AI strike because I basically got struck like right when I started the stream. No one reported that. They were not going into a recession. Like it wasn't like specifically my channel. My channel wasn't in any trouble, but YouTube just basically had new guidelines that they put up for everyone. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna delete the old content and not deal with it. No, I never got. I've never gotten a strike after 2019. I never got a strike after 2019, Biggie 32. Like, I wasn't in trouble. Like, no one reported me. But YouTube came up with random new guidelines. Yeah, it was increasing subscribers. But, like, there aren't any new people in the crypto, and a lot of the old people are dropping out. Plus, like, I'm losing subscribers now because, like, there's probably a bunch of the bot subscribers that are being scrubbed by YouTube. Crashes? Yeah, we're not going into a recession. I think we're definitely going into a recession if the private credit thing crashes. I mean, the thing is, like, I can't really get excited for new cryptos right now because there's so many of them already. We do have a lot of credit card debt, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like private credit loans. I, Eric, I don't think Trump actually agrees with any of the 10 points, but he just said he did to like calm the markets down and to make people think that we had a ceasefire. I really think that's what happened. Like Trump was desperate for any kind of ceasefire to calm the markets down. He couldn't have the markets continuously dropping. Like he's trying to think of new ways to like pump the markets back up. Because let's be honest, he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to strike Iran because he knows that Iran can strike back, and like if Iran strikes back, that's political suicide because it'll cost gas to go up to like $200 or something like that. He doesn't have the capacity just to destroy all of Iran's weapons because he doesn't know where they are. Like, they're all hidden deep within the mountains. Like, what the hell are you going to do? Just bomb a bunch of mountains? Like, that's not going to work. He definitely doesn't want the stock market to crash during his administration. But here's the thing. I don't think he can prevent it. I don't know. I don't actually know if he can stall it for 2 years. That's a long time. Trump has no patience. He's going to take the island soon. To Karg. That would be a complete disaster if he tries if he takes Karg Island. Like it'll cost us a lot of casualties to take it, but that's not even the worst part. Like you can't like ensure the safety of the troops while they're on the island. They're just gonna get destroyed on the island. No, I don't think our intelligence knows exactly where those things are because they're not in one position. Taking the island isn't actually the hard part. Like 6,000 troops is enough to take the island. Keeping the troops alive after you take the island is the hard part. Like Eric, Iran has a lot of mountains. They can bury the weapons anywhere within those mountains. You're like the bunker buster missiles may not even be able to get to them because they're like mountains. Well, CC Bull, like the problem is like Peak Hegseth literally fired all the generals that didn't want to put troops on the ground. So now you just got a bunch of guys that are willing to put troops on the ground. That's like one of the main issues right now. It's not so much the big country thing. It's not so much the big country thing. It's the geography of the country. Iran is a very hard country to invade. I mean, he needs to gather a lot more forces. They need to deploy at least as many forces as they did in Iraq, and that's like over 100,000 troops. That's going to be extremely unpopular. Like he has 8,000 troops right now. He has he has 1,000 airborne troops and 5,000 Marines. That's not going to be enough. Like we sent like 150,000 soldiers into Iraq. And if you want like some kind of chance at victory in Iran, you have to do the same thing. Already on the ground in an alleged attempt to capture the alleged enriched uranium when they were claiming a rescue attempt. I don't think they captured the enriched uranium. Maybe they sent Delta Force in or something. But Just Delta Force by themselves is not going to be enough. Because they are a super elite unit, but they are like, 24 guys or something. Create an Iron Dome air defense like Israel, but on the island. It's too close to Iran. Like, part of the reason the Iron Dome works is because, like, there's Iraq between Iran and Israel. So they have, like, enough time to take the missiles down. That island is, like, 15 miles offshore. Like, I don't think the Iron Dome will actually work. And if you put our boats there to protect the island, then our boats are in the way of the missiles. Like, you're putting our fleet at risk then. It's way too close to Iran itself. Like, what you need to do is you need to take the island, and then you need to take the southern part of Iran, which requires a lot more troops than he's got over there. But since Peak Hegseth did fire all the generals that don't want to actually make an assault, he might actually have the numbers. I'm just saying, like, he might actually have the numbers now. Because he can, like, there's no one that, like, doesn't want to deploy anymore because he fired all those people. Have too many allies in the Middle East. Iran doesn't have any allies in the Middle East, but not that many of them are willing to join the U.S. either. I mean, they're kind of pissed off at Iran right now because Iran's, like, attacking their facilities. But, like, behind the scenes, they're also pissed off at the U.S. that this is happening. Because, like, this didn't need to happen. Like, everyone knows that this didn't need to happen. Funds, I thought he needed, like, 2 billion. 2 billion what? This war is costing like $1 billion a day. No. Like, Hegseth applied for $200 billion for this war. I don't know if Congress is going to accept it or not. And like, Trump wants the military to get an increase budget to 1.5 trillion. What do you think will become of Iran's currency? The citizens should buy Bitcoin. They might end up using Bitcoin or something like that. I don't really know. I have no idea. I mean, honestly, whatever. Look, I just want this thing to end. Like, I don't care if Trump accepts the 10 points. I'm perfectly willing for him to accept the 10 points. Because we shouldn't be in there in the first place. And even if we accept the 10 points, it's just bad for Israel. It's not actually bad for us. Iran wants either crypto or Chinese yuan. No. This whole conflict is not engineered to orchestrate a Bitcoin uprising. There are credible recent reports that Iran has proposed or is attempting to make oil tankers pay fees. And yes, that is absolutely true. They are trying to make oil tankers pay fees because that's how they're going to get their reparations. Remember, Iran wanted reparations. There's no way the U.S. is going to agree to repay Iran. So they're just charging oil tankers to get the reparations. Like, realistically, there's absolutely no way to spin this war as a win. Like, Trump has no way to spin this war as a win. It's definitely a loss. He just doesn't want to, like, but, like, it just, right now it's just basically like, how big of an L will it actually be? Or will he actually just drag this out and it'll eventually just be a bigger L? If you want gas from Iran, you need to Farcoin. I mean, it's either, like, I'm guessing the stablecoin might actually just be USDT or USDC, which would kind of destroy the point of the whole thing. But I don't know. Like, they might want BTC. I'm not really sure. Who knows, man? This stuff's like all weird. Allow the IRGC to control the strait. It's too much leverage. Yeah, but higher lows, I don't think we can do anything about it. We can't just, like, we really can't, like, just have our troops there full time. And that's really the only way, like, you're going to be able to protect the strait. Didn't Obama, like, it's too close to Iran. Signed a great deal. They were monitoring their uranium. Yeah, we had a pretty good deal with Obama. Trump kind of tore it up. It was a 10-year deal. It would have expired by now. But I think they could have just renewed the deal. Because, like, I think the Supreme Leader would have renewed the deal. But they kind of killed him, too. Yeah, but you're not going to get regime change. The regime change is just not happening. Like, the population isn't rising up. There seems to be very little interest in that. Like, they basically did change the regime. They essentially got rid of the old leader and replaced him with a more extremist leader. So they kind of lost there too. Because, like, the old supreme leader was the one actually holding the regime back. And now you don't have the old supreme leader. The new supreme leader doesn't really have power, and the IRGC is just more extreme. See, this is the problem. You can't actually kill the regime. The regime doesn't care if you kill a few of its leaders. They got a lot of people lined up. And to them, it's like a holy war, so you're not just going to, like, make them give up. After taking out Khomeini, could luck with that regime change? I mean, his kid is, like, more extreme than him. Plus, you just killed his family, so he's not going to be willing to negotiate. So, like, you know, like, taking out Khomeini might have not been the best idea in the world, because once again, they didn't think this through before he did it. They really didn't think this through at all before they did it. They're just like, let's get him and then, like, see what happens. And what's happening? They don't like it. Because, like, I mean, I think this whole thing, like, I think he was winging this whole thing. And somehow he thought magically it would work out. Like, I really think he thought magically it would work out, and he was just winging the entire thing. Which sounds weird, but that really is what it is. That really is what it is. He's just, like, winging the entire thing. Grandfather was born in India? I mean, that doesn't really matter. Look, I just want this thing to end, bruh. This is not going to benefit the United States anyway. And the best thing that could happen for us is if Trump just caved to the 10 points. That's the best thing that could happen to the crypto industry and to, like, the economy as a whole. If he just caved to the 10 points, stop supporting Israel, whatever Israel does, tell Israel that they're on their own so they can't be as aggressive, and, like, this whole thing just ended. That would be the best thing right now. Israel won't let it end, but higher lows. I think if you just told Israel we're out, you can deal with them yourself. I think Israel would pretty much end if we just didn't give them our support anymore. If we didn't give them our military support anymore, I think it would actually end. I got to give it to her, and they were prepared. They saw what happened to Iraq, Syria, and then learned from it. Syria was kind of like an internal insurrection. So, like, Syria is different because the U.S. didn't really go into Syria. They definitely learned from Iraq. You think Israel could take Iran by itself? No. But Iran also can't take Israel either. Draft starting December 2026. But CC the Bull, we're not going to have a draft. We are not going to have the draft would be so incredibly unpopular. We haven't had a draft since Vietnam. They're not gonna we didn't draft people for Desert Storm or Desert Fox. They're not gonna just randomly start drafting people. That's also not happening. That would also be even more political suicide than this war in Iran if you actually instituted a draft. That would be so you don't have any idea how unpopular a draft would actually be. You have no idea. If you actually try to institute a draft, there might be a chance for revolt. If he tried to institute a draft, they might impeach and remove him because that will actually get Republican senators to turn on him. If he tries to do a draft, that could get him removed from office straight up. It's actually not a bad thing. No, our army needs to stay all volunteer. I mean, if you need a job, you can always go join the army. But draft, I like a military draft is not going to happen. This isn't World War III. He's planning to go in with 6,000 troops, man. You don't need a draft. Israel is good at false flags, not taking over countries. Well, he's really good at pissing off allies. So that's why he doesn't have any anymore. Fourteenth and Iran, so you're right, they're fairly equal. Israel does have nukes, but no one's going to use the nukes. The 2-week ceasefire won't actually last because Trump probably didn't read the 10 points before agreeing to them. Now he's not agreeing to them anymore. Because he tweeted on his Truth Social that the 10 points were workable. He probably never read what the 10 points were before he tweeted that. He just needed to say something. He just really was desperate to say something to calm the markets down. Just like all the other times, he said this war was over, then we won. It was essentially to calm the markets down from dropping more, or to try to revive the markets. Iran has a bigger army, but Israel has way better equipment. And they can't fight a ground war because there's Iraq in between them. I mean, technically, it's still in play, but Iran and Israel are already attacking each other, so it might as well not exist. Isn't there error for it's their ballistic? Iran's strong point is their ballistic missile system and their drones. Iran wouldn't clap them because you can't do a ground invasion. Like the two countries don't border each other. There's not going to be a ground invasion. And neither country's going to paradrop stuff in. Yes, Israel has a superior air force. Because they have our F-35s. And plus, we just destroyed Iran's air force anyways. Like, Israel would have air superiority, easily. But they still can't stop the drones and missiles. Even their Iron Dome can't. Hasn't even been flying them because the planes cost more than the drones. The planes do cost more than the drones, yes. Mossad is good at look, Mossad is actually really good at gathering intelligence. They're not going to fight a war. Neither country would really do much to the other. Dude, crypto would be at a higher price if Harris was in office easily right now. Because you just literally made the stuff up that, like, Harris would actually ban crypto. No, she wouldn't. She never said that. And your only evidence is, like, some YouTuber said so. That's not real evidence. You're, like, doing everything you can to save Trump's face and why you support him. There's, like, no justification for that right now. Yes, if everyone was a couple of YouTubers, sure. But reality has already played out. Trump has been horrible for crypto. I think we would have been higher if Harris was president. Yeah, but higher lows, we still had the bull run under Gensler. And it was a better bull run than the one under Trump. And Gensler was already losing all those court cases anyways. And neither Biden or Harris was likely to overturn the court cases. Because Biden and Harris are regular presidents. They actually abide by court orders, unlike Trump. Yeah, sure, Gensler would have still been there. But he didn't kill crypto the 4 years he was there. The only crypto that Gensler affected was XRP. He didn't affect anything else. So Gensler being there is actually kind of irrelevant. And like I said, he was losing all those cases anyways. Yeah, which has done nothing for the price, D-dupe. Crypto price would be higher under Harris at this point. Like, Trump has been so bad for the macroeconomy that overrides everything else. We did, but we lost more than that on the tariff stuff. He gave up on Ethereum. He gave up on Ethereum after like 3 weeks. I mean, the initial pump wouldn't have been as big under Harris, obviously, but like, I can guarantee you that February through July of last year would be way better under Harris than Trump for the economy and for crypto. Because Harris would have been the same as Biden on crypto. She like actually didn't really say anything about crypto. She just didn't support it as much as Trump did. Because you just made all that stuff up where, like you said, she was gonna like. You just literally made all that stuff up where you said like she was gonna ban crypto. She never said that. Dude, Trump's only focus on crypto is grifting money from crypto. He hasn't done shit for crypto, man. The only thing he's really done is grift people on his own meme coins. That's really all he cares about when it comes to crypto. There is no math to calculate what Bitcoin would have peaked at. That's all full of BS. That's like calculating that XRP will be $10,000. How the hell do you calculate that? Make up their own BS mathematics? No, there really isn't. That's all BS. All those calculations are BS and they've rarely ever been right. They're based on their own assumptions, which are largely wrong. Yeah, it's all like D-Dub, it's all BS calculations. The next president should get a massive boron unless he does something stupid, which Trump is very likely to do. Look, any attempt at mathematical calculation is ridiculous based on who's president. Because Harris wouldn't have had the giant tariff drop off that literally killed us for 4 months. We can get a bull run after midterms. We got a fine bull run under Biden, way better than we got under Trump. Harris would have been the same thing. Yeah, that's completely irrelevant, whether she fired Gensler or not. Because Gensler was losing all those court cases anyways. Like, Gensler really only affects XRP. It doesn't really affect anything else. And Gensler might actually be better than Atkins for crypto in the long run. Yeah, firing Gensler was irrelevant because he was already losing all those court cases, which means cryptos weren't a security anyways. Yeah, because Circle released a new product. Like, Circle literally released a new product that does like settlements for financial institutions in USDC. XRP is becoming like less and less useful just based on its proposed use case. Because everything else has already replaced it. Circle just puts another nail in the coffin. BE32, he's desperately trying to justify his support for Trump, his continued support for Trump, based on some kind of crypto theory. There is no justification for it. We'd be better off now with Harris than Trump in the crypto market, because the macro economy would be a lot better. I need the pump after Gensler left. Yeah, but XRP was really the only crypto that Gensler affected. Gensler didn't really affect any of the other cryptos. Like, Gensler already gave Bitcoin the green light. He also gave Ethereum the green light. XRP was really the only thing he was suppressing. And then XRP had its pump after Gensler left. It's still like at $1.30 right now. Because the hype is still there for XRP. But he didn't really affect any other crypto. Because like not having the tariffs would have easily made up for the just not doing tariffs would have easily made up for the post inauguration pump. Yeah, the whole crypto market felt positive for like a month, and then he destroyed it with the tariffs. He did more damage with the tariffs to crypto than the initial pump. And then this war just basically tanked everything even more. There's really like no justification for it. Like you can't argue that Trump actually has been good for crypto. No, it would have gotten that high with Harris. Because like the tariffs wouldn't have killed the bull run with Harris. We would have gone up slower initially, but then she wouldn't have killed it with the tariffs. Just based on the cycles, we would have gone higher with Harris eventually. Because we wouldn't have spent like the entire summer recovering from the tariffs. Because we wouldn't have had to. I mean, you do realize that both the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF got approved under Biden, and we did get a pump under Biden. We actually broke the all-time high before we were supposed to under Biden. The charts weren't bad on November 4th, Dito Dupe. I remember that day. The market was pretty even, before the election was decided. Yeah, it was a V-shaped recovery, higher lows, but it took like all of 4 or 5 months to actually recover. Your obscure altcoin is pumping. Like, Trump has been horrible for crypto. Harris would have been better for crypto overall. Harris would have also not made her own meme coin. Harris would have done the same thing for crypto that Biden and Obama did, because she doesn't care about crypto overall. It's true, she wouldn't have drifted it. Also, like Dududop, you're just making things up. Because crypto didn't dip like a month before the election. Crypto was going up ever since September. Both September and October were like good for crypto in 24. So no, there wasn't a massive dip. You're remembering something wrong. Yeah. Like this was January 24 when Biden was like this was January 24, a year before the election. Like we went up after election day, but we were already going. We've been going up. We went up in October, and we went up in like October as well. So no, there wasn't a dip after polls came out stating Harris was ahead. Because we went up a month before the election, before the actual election night. So your memory doesn't serve you right. What dip in October? Like we went up since the beginning of October. Yeah, and basically in the last month leading up to the election, we went up. Trump's meme coin was bad for crypto, but I don't think that was the main issue. There isn't really that dip. Like we literally went up all of October. Yeah, there's a couple of lumps and like dips, but nothing significant. No, only you see it, Dito Dupe. There's not a significant dip. There really isn't a significant dip. Not in the last month, there's not. You want to see it's like 1%. That's not a real dip. If you want to see a dip, this is a dip. This is a dip. Here, this is also a dip. This is like Liberation Day right here. This is the Liberation Day dip, right? That's a dip. That's an actual dip, the Liberation Day thing. There's no dip in here in October. This is the Liberation Day dip here. And this is the CZ stuff here. I mean, there's no dip in October, really. Like the movements after Trump won, there was a dip after, like, about a month after the election, after Trump already won. And that dip was several times bigger than whatever you're seeing here. Because you're talking about this movement in here. Like, you're talking about, like October is basically this section here. Like from like 62 to like 67. You're talking about like a 1% dip, which is regular day-to-day movement. Yeah, I mean, like this dip might have happened, but this dip wouldn't have happened. We would have had like these 4 months in here to actually go up. We're not quite getting like we're not quite getting a new Fed next month because they won't actually confirm Warsh. Dino, dude, it's a 1% movement. That's just day-to-day movement. You want to see a dip? This is a real dip. This is a Liberation Day dip. There's no actual dip in October like you claim. Because I was streaming that time as well. The polls didn't really have any real effect on the price. You're not remembering right because there's no significant dip. Like there's a slow grind up in October. There's no significant dip. Like, look at the movements after a month after Trump won. They're several times greater than any kind of movement in October. It was like October didn't have a significant dip at any point in time. Yeah, but there wasn't a dip in the first place, Dito Dupe. You're imagining these dips. There was never a dip. There were like polls coming out every day. There was never a dip or like any kind of significant movement in all of them. Like the movements after Trump, immediately after Trump became president, were way greater, both the dips and the rises, than like any kind of dip or movement before like the election. Because basically the 3 or 4 months before the election were basically a wash in terms of movement. I mean, you can just look at the graph and see that. Like you can tell, like the couple of months before the election, there wasn't that big of a movement. Like, and even the dip, like even like these movements right after, like a month after he won the election, they were far greater than the movements beforehand. Yeah, because you're making stuff up again, Dito Dupe. Like, you're literally making shit up again. Because, like, the charts don't support what you're saying. A lot of these guys have been here for, like, 6 or 7 years. At least. Because they joined me, like, back when I started streaming. And you're just like making random stuff up, trying to support Trump. And it's not working because the charts are disproving like everything that you said. Because you can't find any significant movement in October or really in September. Yeah, but your memory is not serving you right at this point. Because the chart's right there. The chart is literally in front of you. It does not show any significant dip in September or October. It seems like you were more obsessed with Trump than the charts. The chart's right there. There's no significant dip in October or September. Like the movements starting in December, January, February were a lot greater than the movements before. Well, your memory doesn't serve. Your memory is just bad then, because there's no dip in as the chart shows, there's no dip in October. And polls come out every day. There was no movement of more than 1 or 2% on any given day. Well, the influencers weren't reading the chart right because the chart's right there in front of you. It shows 0 dips. Once again, it shows 0 dips in September and October. All the significant dips actually happened after he got elected, not beforehand. You can actually see the severity of the ups and downs before and after the election. We don't have to ask ChatGPT. You can see October's movement right there. There's no dip. Like, it didn't really move more than 2% in any given day. That's not a dip. Paid Bitcoin? I don't know. Like, it could be Bitcoin. Like, they're trying to get around USD. That's not going to last long, but it's kind of like that's more of a symbolic gesture than anything else. I mean, you can see the tariffs caused a dip because that was like a 40% dip. A 1 or 2% movement isn't really a dip. We see that every day. Iran wants something that's like they can cash out everywhere. So they're going to go with Bitcoin, obviously. Look, Trump had a good initial traction for crypto, but then he kind of screwed it up with the tariffs and now the war. And realistically, Harris would have just been better for crypto overall because we'd have lower rates. We wouldn't have had the tariffs, we would have lower rates, and we probably wouldn't be in a war with Iran right now. Bro, we can literally look at the chart right here, man. We can quite literally look at the chart right here, Dupe. There's no significant dip in October. Or even September. Well, Iran says they're accepting Bitcoin payments or yuan payments through the strait. That's where it's coming from. Look, Dupe, we could literally see the chart right there, man. We literally can see the chart right there. A 1% movement isn't a dip. Yes, Trump is definitely under pressure from Israel. And yeah, crypto would still be higher right now under Harris. Because, like, just the fact that she wouldn't do the tariffs and cost us like 5 months would have put her over Trump easily. And obviously, like, that meme coin stuff really didn't help. And she wouldn't have created her own meme coin. The main reason all those crypto bros favor Trump is because they thought Trump would make crypto tax free, which ultimately didn't happen. Harris would have been exactly like Biden. You literally made all that crap up about her saying like she would end crypto. She didn't say any of that. You're just trying to defend your Trump choice. Stop it. Like, Trump is horrible for crypto and the economy overall. Trump has been horrible for both the economy and for crypto. Like, you were saying that like Harris would look at it as a scam. Trump made it known to everyone that it is a scam by his actions. By his actions, Trump made it known to everyone out there that crypto is a scam with his meme coins and his constant manipulation of the market. He's done more harm to crypto than good. Because like crypto's reputation was bad enough as it is, but he just made it a lot worse. Harris didn't really have a position, no. Harris didn't have a position on crypto at all. Harris was the same as Biden. And the thing is, like, Gensler would have still been in charge, but Gensler was losing all those court cases. And like neither Harris or Biden would override the Supreme Court decisions. We all know that. Like higher lows, like Trump is really the only president that would actually ignore all those court orders. Both Harris and Biden wouldn't have done that. No, not having a position just means you don't really care all that much. She only said she was like kind of supportive to get like in the end because to get some support, but ultimately she didn't really care about it. And crypto wouldn't have been any worse under her than Joe Biden. And crypto actually did fine under Biden, despite Gensler. Remember, all those ETFs came under Biden. Dude, neither Biden or Harris really cares about crypto because it's not a major thing to them. Like, they're only really, like, all these candidates are only interested in crypto because of the super PAC money. They don't actually care about crypto besides that. No one's going to pardon SBF. Look, none of these candidates really care about crypto past the super PAC money. Do you not realize that? Crypto's only powerful because they have so much money in the super PACs. The actual population that votes based on crypto is tiny. Like, legit, the actual population that votes based mainly on crypto is tiny. SBF doesn't have that much money. And any money that he would have coming out would be confiscated anyways. And his parents are rich, but they're not that rich. Yeah, Harris was saving face by like saying she supported innovation, but she didn't really. She never really said anything anti-crypto, because she honestly just didn't care about it. And like I said, the courts actually, and I've said before, the courts actually have a lot more influence on this crypto stuff than the president. Because the courts, like the Supreme Court, was the one deciding everything, whether crypto was a security, whether like it can do this or whether it can do that. And Gensler was getting his ass kicked in court anyways. So realistically, like Harris would have just not done anything. And like Gensler would have eventually lost. And I don't really care what they do for the cultural war stuff. That's completely irrelevant. No, when you're in federal penitentiary, you can't get out for good behavior. You have to serve at least 80% of your sentence. That's what federal penitentiary is. So he's screwed for at least 20 years. SBF is way too toxic for anyone to touch with a pardon. He freed Ross. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. But didn't the Silk Road guy, didn't he off someone though? Didn't the Silk Road guy like off someone? I mean, I think the charges against him on that specific subject are probably BS, but I thought he offed someone else. Do Kwon, yeah, Do Kwon got pwned as well. Like, I heard from someone else that, like, I heard from someone else that Ross, like, hired a hitman for some reason. Like, for, like, one of his opponents or whatever. I mean, like lasers go pew pew. I don't think people can prove anything, but all those guys are shady. Like, all those guys are, like, super shady. Like, if you run something like Silk Road, you got to be shady as crap, man. You got to be shady as crap if you run something like Silk Road. Craig Wright doesn't really actually have any kind of criminal offenses. He's just crazy. Like, CSW is just crazy. He's not actually like. He's crazy, and he's guilty of like harassing people that he's the actual Satoshi Nakamoto. I think like Ross is kind of like CZ but worse. Cuz like Silk Road is basically like a conduit for like illegal activity. Whereas Binance, yeah, they do use it to money launder, but it's still an exchange. Like an organization like Silk Road is going to like specialize in illegal activity. Yeah, Satoshi was definitely real. It's probably like a group of people, or maybe it was Hal, who knows. I don't think Gavin Newsom cares about crypto. All right, I don't think any of the Democratic candidates really care about crypto. That's like there's like 20 other things that are higher on their list than crypto. I also don't really think that many of the I don't. I also don't think Vance. I mean, Vance might care because he has investments, but I also don't think Rubio cares about crypto either. I mean, I think they might be less good for crypto now because of like Donald Trump's association with crypto and meme coins. I really don't think Gavin Newsom cares that much. There's too many other issues that are more important than crypto to those guys. I mean, realistically, crypto does need tighter regulations than now. Like they're probably gonna, but I'm just afraid because of Trump's connection with crypto, it's gonna be too tight. The regulation's gonna be too tight. I mean, Silk Road was essentially just a conduit for illegal activity. I mean, like you turn a blind eye to it. Didn't Cali pass a law seizing crypto? I don't know if that actually passed. I think like they said like something like if crypto was inactive in an exchange for over like 3 years or something like that. I don't know if that actually passed. I don't think it did. I don't think that act actually passed. I mean, you probably shouldn't leave your crypto in exchange like for 3 years without touching it, but still. But I don't think it actually passed. Yeah, it has to be left on a centralized exchange with no activity for 3 years. Essentially, but essentially essentially if you log into your account, it's void though. If I remember correctly, he allegedly hired a hitman, but no one died. I mean, that just means he failed in the assassination. I mean, a failed assassination is still illegal, regardless if it worked or not. Well, Dito Dupe, I actually log into my account more than once every 3 years. So as long as I log into my account, it's not inactive. I mean, if you actually lost your like, I mean, I guess if you just like left a bunch of money in there, and if it obviously if your crypto is in custody, then it doesn't apply because then it's not really inactive. It really shouldn't be a rule to begin with because it is like they just count it as abandoned property. It shouldn't be a rule to begin with, but it basically requires you to log. It basically requires you to log into your account once every 3 years. That's what it really requires. Like it requires you to log into your centralized exchange once every 3 years. You don't actually have to move the crypto. You just need to log into your account. On Trump's moves after the ceasefire is now broken, I think we're going to be back at war within a few days. This whole thing's a huge mess. Like I said, Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He's stupid. I mean, that's all I can. He's kind of stupid. I mean, he is stupid. That's all I can say. I think it went into effect in January. It's part of the updated unclaimed property law. Also, like, the exchange has to try to contact you before handing the crypto over. So, like, you have to not log in for 3 years. The exchange it's mandatory that the exchange tries to contact you beforehand using your contact address. And then you have to, like, not respond. You can still claim your crypto back through the California State Controller's Office after it has been transferred. So, like, so the thing is, like, you can still claim it back after they've taken it from you. But the exchange it's mandatory that the exchange contacts you before handing it over. And it says they can't liquidate it. There's no mandatory liquidation after they take it over. It's part of the unclaimed property thing. It's part of the unclaimed property law, SB 822. The state can take custody, but unlike other property, they must hold the crypto in its original form rather than immediately selling it. If they seize it, you won't get taxed on it because then it belongs to the state. Like, if the state sells it, you won't get taxed because it belongs to the state. But they also can't sell it immediately. They probably have to give you several months to be able to claim it back. And the exchange has to contact you several times. And if you don't respond after all those times, they assume that, like, it's lost property, which shouldn't be the case, but still. If you claim it, isn't it income? No, it's because, like, it's something that you lost that you reclaimed. You don't get taxed on that. I don't know if California is building a crypto reserve. Realistically, for them to take your crypto, you basically have to have dropped off the face of the earth or gone off the grid. If he's a Democratic nominee, yeah, because I'm not going to vote for anyone that's associated with the Trump administration. He's probably not going to do anything. Because, like, people were doing all these scare tactics for Joe Biden in crypto as well, but none of them actually materialized. Also, like, at this point, I would vote for tighter crypto regulations. And he's not going to get congressional approval. There's too many Democrats involved in crypto as well. Like, the super PAC is essentially fed too much money to both parties for them to really turn against crypto at this point. He won't be able to do that without, like, remember, taxes. I know you follow Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doesn't believe in congressional powers, but everyone else believes in congressional powers. And taxes are Congress's thing. The president can't do that. Like, the president cannot impose new taxes without the approval of Congress. And unlike Donald Trump, other presidents tend to follow the law. Like, Trump is really the only president ever that's really just ignored, like, every ruling. Other presidents tend to follow rulings. Like the courts actually influence crypto a lot more than the president. The president isn't some all-powerful entity. Trump has tried to make it an all-powerful entity, and he hasn't really been successful. But other presidents generally don't do that. Trump isn't going to abolish the IRS. First of all, AOC is not going to be president. Also, like I think AOC would probably be more anti-crypto than either Newsom or Harris. I think AOC is more likely to take action against crypto than Newsom or Harris. I don't think Newsom and Harris would actually. I don't think either Newsom or Harris would try to do anything. AOC might actually try to do something. You do know that AOC is a lot more liberal than either Newsom or Harris, right? Newsom and Harris aren't super liberal. They're pretty much like centrist Democrats. AOC is actually like quite left wing. Like AOC is like basically like Europe, like AOC I think would be a centrist like center left person in Europe, which would be like, which is like really left wing here. Like AOC and Bernie Sanders would be like your centrist left wing party in Europe, basically. Not left wing, like your centrist left party in Europe. They would be like the liberals in Europe. I don't think AOC winning the presidency would be a black swan event, honestly. Because there's like she would still be constrained by Congress, and she would also follow judicial rulings. The court actually has a lot of power over the president. It's just that Trump has chosen to ignore the court. But other presidents generally don't ignore the court. Like Big E32, I can see AOC being a lot like Trump on the left side, but with one significant difference. Like with one significant difference, AOC would actually listen to the court decisions, unlike Trump. So like I think like you could control AOC much more than you, I think the courts and Congress can control AOC way more than they can control Trump. She's too far left. And Big E32, I don't think that would prevent her from winning. You know why? Because Trump was like crazy and they still elected him. It is a left versus right thing right now, Dito Dupe, because like Trump's tied himself so closely to crypto. I mean, high or low, sooner or later we do need to like start relying more on renewable energy. I mean, I think like if anything, this whole Iran war and them closing the strait should have told us that. I wouldn't mind Andrew Yang, but outside of like the whole UBI thing, he doesn't really have any other policies for anything else. She was banning cow farts and stuff like that. I mean, UBI is eventually going to happen sooner or later because of AI. But, I mean, look, like Big E32, I would be like, knowing what I do know now, I am less afraid of an AOC presidency than a Trump presidency. Because the courts can contain AOC. The courts seem to not be able to contain Trump. And you're going to have a conservative majority on the Supreme Court for a while. So I'm not actually, like, I actually don't care. I don't mind an AOC presidency because the courts would contain her if she tried to do something really crazy. And they can't, like, yeah, but that's just the point. One can be controlled and one can't be controlled. You want the one that can be controlled. You like when you have someone that could do something stupid and can be controlled, and then someone that will do stupid things and can't be controlled. I'd much rather have the one that can be controlled. And there is the fact that she's a lot younger too. Like she's not like an 80-year-old person. Like she's not like an 80-year-old guy running for president. She's not like, you know, an old senile guy running for president. There's that too. Oh, lasers go pew pew. Almost anyone would take Obama back at this point. Like if presidents were allowed to run for more than 2 terms and it was Obama versus Trump, Obama would sweep Trump at this point easily. You need a pro-crypto person who isn't right wing. Dude, the best type of president for crypto would be like a Mitt Romney or something. But MAGA won't support Mitt Romney because he's not MAGA enough. Like honestly, Mitt Romney would probably be like one of the best choice for a crypto president. But realistically, he's not going to be president because he's old. He's too old right now. And MAGA will never support him because he turned against Trump. Yeah, but neocons are like loose regulations and not crazy. No, we definitely need crypto regulations. If the Trump administration has proved anything, it's proved that we actually need crypto regulations. And probably tighter ones than the ones we have now. Yeah, neither party really has that great candidates for the next election, but just on the way things are going, the Democrats are going to win. And they're going to win by a lot if things don't turn around fast. Like it would be like Obama would have a landslide victory over Trump. If it was like the 3rd term. Dino Dupe, you're gonna have to accept that crypto is like a small issue. And not many people vote strictly because of crypto. They only have an outsized influence on politics because of the massive super PAC money they have. That's the only reason either party cares. Dude, Obama would like absolutely destroy Trump in an election. Obama would absolutely destroy Trump in an election if they were both allowed to run for the 3rd time. It wouldn't even be remotely close. Like Georgia, Arizona, New Mexico, they would all be blue. I think North Carolina would turn blue as well. Obama's not going to win 49 states, but it would be like 350. But he would win like 350 electoral votes in the EC. No, he would crush Trump. Obama would absolutely crush Trump at this point. Because Obama was actually a pretty popular president. Trump is like one of the most unpopular presidents ever. Like his approval rating is like 35% right now, if not less. Dude, choosing Super Quant, stop being dumb. You know that Trump wouldn't win against anyone right now. Like Trump would not win against against anyone right now. Anyone could beat Trump at this point. Not because of the scamming, because Trump is super unpopular. Trump is like super, super unpopular. There is no scamming. The scamming thing was just a lie. Dude, Juicing Superquant, do you just want to be banned? Because I'll just ban you. I know you're just I know you're just trolling. Michelle doesn't want to run. Like, she's stated that she does not want to be president. You can't force someone to run for president. Look, Juice Superquant, I'm not going to tolerate trolling here anymore. Because I know you're trolling. And I'm just going to ban trolls. Trump is like Trump is like the president with the lowest popularity right now. He's like gone under Nixon. Dude, you're obviously trolling. There's no election fraud, man. The election fraud stuff is all a bunch of lies that Trump fabricated because he didn't want to admit that he lost. Dude, trying to attention whore is essentially trolling. Look, Trump has the lowest approval rating of like any president in the last 60 years right now. He would lose against anyone at this point. And this administration is probably the most corrupt administration anyone can remember out of like the last 10 administrations. Because this dude literally uses tweets to manipulate the market, and his administration actually profits economically from those tweets. He literally ran two meme coins and profited hundreds of millions of dollars. And there was a $1.5 billion short or long right before he made the Iran war announcement. Pete Hegseth tried to broker for oil futures right before he made the war announcement as well. This is the most corrupt administration we've ever seen. And it's not even close. I don't think Trump actually committed election fraud. I think the whole election fraud thing is bogus. The whole election fraud thing from both sides is bogus. That's just him not willing to admit that he lost. I mean, you look at any in-depth research on election fraud from either liberal or conservative think tanks. They both come to the same conclusion. And the conclusion is there's basically very little election fraud and not nearly enough that it would ever actually affect a national election. You can prefer Trump, but you have to acknowledge he would basically lose against anyone in an election right now. He has the lowest approval rating. And just making up random stuff about Obama scamming is nonsense. Because Trump really doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's dragged us into a war that we can't get out of. He's just basically making blind threats at this point because he has no way out. For what? He hasn't done anything good. Like, Trump hasn't really done anything good. He's kind of screwed up the country overall. Obviously, he's in the files. That's why he doesn't want them released. It's very obvious he's in the files at this point. Yeah, look. The troll is just asking to get banned at this point. Trump is great for comedic relief. He's not good for being president. Punish Trump. I don't like look, all our presidents have been pro-Israel. He's just more pro-Israel than anyone else for whatever reason. Maybe Netanyahu has like dirt on Trump. Who knows, man? I'm not going to speculate on that cuz I don't really know. Do you realize like all those like election fraud cases, like his lawyers never wanted to take any of those cases to court because they knew that like Trump's lawyers knew that they wouldn't win any of those election fraud cases in court. 2028, I think at this point the way it's going, whoever the Democrats nominate will win 2028. Unless things turn around really quickly. Whoever the Democrats will nominate will win 2028. It doesn't matter who each party nominates. If things don't get better, the Democrat will win 2028. I mean, look at the special elections that have been taking place throughout the country. They're like the average flip is like 20 points in the blue direction at this point. So unless things actually change, like the GOP is just not going to win. Well, the Georgia thing's kind of weird because like even like the Secretary of State and the governor, which were both Republican, said there was no election fraud. And he still went and pursued it. Newsom would win against whoever the Republicans put up right now. Like the Trump stench is so bad right now that anyone associated with him is not going to win. You can say that California is trash, but it's still better than like pretty much the entire South outside of Texas. Like if you look at the rankings for like certain metrics in California, like California ranks in the middle of all the states. It's not at the bottom. Like I don't really like Newsom, but he would win right now against whoever they put up. No one actually likes Vance. Rubio is too closely tied to Trump. Newsom does have that going for him, but Dito, realistically, at this point, he would win just because he's not Republican. Like Newsom would win just because he's not president. He's not Republican. Where do I think is the best place to live in the USA? I don't really know. I mean, I would actually, I like warmer weather. So I actually have enough money, so like going to the south wouldn't be a bad idea. I just pick a better neighborhood. But if I were to start a career, like I would probably not go to the south. If I was worried about like a job and a career. I might go to like Virginia or something if I was like considered about like a concerned about a job or a career. I mean, that's what the South has going for it. Like the South has weather. California, that's what Cali has going for it. It has weather. All right, guys. That's going to be it for now. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. I will be back tomorrow, and I will see you guys later.